If you're a startup founder from the Balkans, you'll eventually need a US company. To sell into the US market, use Stripe, or raise VC money. But here's the problem. US lawyers charge between $600 and $1,000 an hour. Opening a bank account as a non-resident is a nightmare. You need a US phone number, operating address, and there are a lot of hidden costs plus lawyer lingo you can't understand. This is why we have partnered with Neubase. They are a team of Balkan founders who have been exactly where you are. They're 10 times cheaper than US lawyers, and they handle everything end to end, from the corporation, bank account setup, tax filings, and basically leaving you to focus on your own business. Head to neubase.co, book a free consultation, and mention Scale SE to get 10% discount off your LLC or C-Corp setup. Today's guest is Branko Džakula. Branko has spent over 15 years in cybersecurity, where he has built companies, operating in high-stakes environments, and learned how to stay calm when everything around him is burning. He has advised telcos like Telenor, airlines like Etihad Airways and Air Serbia, to leading security at global tech companies, and served as Chief Information and Security Officer across multiple organizations in Europe. He founded Uniquely back in 2020, a cybersecurity and software company, which later became part of a larger group from the Netherlands, where he then led the security at the group level. Today, he is the founder of The Security Company, a company that's focused on providing cybersecurity as a service to global clients across the world. He's also the co-founder of Skenify, a startup focused on helping European SMBs deploy AI agents to do cybersecurity testing for them. He's also the co-founder of Secfix, a Munich-based startup which recently raised $12 million to automate cybersecurity compliance, one of the most painful things for companies today. This is an amazing story of a young entrepreneur from Montenegro who has done it and done quite a lot. Branko, welcome to the show. I want to ask you a couple of questions from your early days. You finished computer science degree and went straight to work. How did you get into cybersecurity, and what was the attraction there?
First of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Computer science in general as a field was always interesting to me since early days. So it was obvious that I'm going to do something in my early career that is in broader sense of cybersecurity field. I wasn't aware about cybersecurity at all. Even during studies at the university, we only had like one subject that was touching on cryptography, methodologies, and some very specific things about cybersecurity, but not as an industry, not as a potential job, only part of a regular IT administrator job or IT project manager, or something that computer science at the Faculty of Electrical Engineering was just a subset of, even broader field of electrical engineering and computer science. And telecommunications. So it was kind of merged into all. You learn a little bit from each field. You don't necessarily get prepared for the work. You get prepared to potentially get placed somewhere to start building up skills to do the work. So thankfully, there was a program in Montenegro that for 9 months, the government will pay you a small salary to work at the company, either private or government sector in Montenegro. There's a selection process, so if you were a very good student, you can pretty much pick where you want to work, so based on your final scores. And I got Telenor at the time. It was a telecommunications company. Now I think rebranded, changed to different names. And there I started working as an IT technician, pretty much IT all-around administrator, from, fixing printers, setting up devices for new employees and stuff like that. And I got exposed to a person that was running their information security. A very specific job to run information security. And it was very rare in Montenegro to even have such a role. It was usually just assigned to IT or somebody, or it wasn't existing at all. It was very early stage. It was 2012, something like that. And he got me into it. He got me interested. He first asked me to help him with the project. I asked, what do you do? And he started explaining. I'm like, wow, interesting. I don't know anything about that. And I was insanely curious. I kept bugging him, asking him questions. And that curiosity led to pretty much us working more together and me just getting fully immersed into this field.
So he was kind of your mentor in a sense.
Absolutely. Not just a mentor, but a trigger for me just getting into this field by, I would say, complete accident, as it was never my intention. I wasn't aware of this before I started work, but it was definitely something I identified as an opportunity that should not be missed. And I had, of course, now it's like I made the best choice ever, but back then I just had a tiny sense that this could be very useful and very required skill as time goes by. So I should probably be able to, get a good salary and have a nice quality of life doing the job.
So how did you then go from that part, from having a nice job, nice salary, nice life, working as a chief information security officer for several different huge companies, to starting your own company? Like, what was how did you switch?
Well, it was definitely not instantaneous thing.
Of course.
It was definitely a will of mine and the plan to eventually do something myself, but I had zero plans on how could that look like. I started getting ideas when I started working with the first startup in Munich. So I was, I think, one of the first 10 employees at that company. I don't know even which number in order, but I was amongst the first 10. And they specific because it was a healthcare, digital healthcare company. So they were highly regulated. That's why cybersecurity was a very important topic very early on, and the founders were very aware that it's necessary. They were already asked about certifications and stuff even early on. So they were looking for somebody who can really take that over and just build the entire compliance program and get them compliant in the cybersecurity and privacy area, specifically for the digital healthcare sector. So it was super specific. I haven't done that before.
What was the name of that startup?
Kaya Health. They actually, they had an exit like 2 months ago.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, they were acquired by a competitor from the United States. So yeah, that story as well turned out very good. But at the time when I was working at that company, and I was very close to the founders who were, building a digital product, very classic startup, YC methodology, very immersed into just how startups were built at the time. And today, I mean, not much change, just plus AI kind of thing. But they were actually building AI features before AI was cool. There was this AI coach for digital therapeutics. So basically you put your phone in a specific angle and it records you while you're doing the exercise, and it maps your body live and tells you if you're doing the exercise correctly. Like Xbox Kinect, when it traces your movement, or Wii, but this one is visual fully. And they made literally from, machine learning models and early AI models before LLMs, they built a technology that worked better than Xbox Kinect, and they patented that technology. So it was a very interesting environment to work in. Very talented people, amazing people. And I just wanted to, I saw the opportunity. Okay, I'm going to do my cybersecurity compliance stuff, all great, but I want to squeeze as much as I can from these founders. Like, hey, what books did you read? How do you run this? How do you solve these problems? So I insisted on just sitting with them in the office, because it was an apartment, apartment with many rooms, and it was very startup-y, very casual environment. In Munich at the time, so in Germany, I was living there for about three and a half years, and I just bombarded them with questions, and I was building confidence with knowledge, right? I think I know how this works, or at least I know enough to potentially give it a shot when the timing is right. Maybe I need to get a little bit more money on the side, just like as a risk mitigation if it falls apart. I have something to eat, and things like that. So I was already cooking up plans like every day a little bit, building up that confidence, but there was not a decisive moment. I think just the only decisive moment that I can think of that really radically changed what I want to do was the pandemic, because I literally moved back from Munich to Belgrade. I got married. I got a kid, and at that time I was working for 2 companies, trying to build as much capital as possible to also start my own thing and to buy an apartment. It was just so many things going on, and opportunities opened up, which was like, okay, it's time. Let's just do it now. And that's
so pandemic starts. What happens then? What's the first company that you start? And yeah.
So, well, at that time, two opportunities opened up pretty much within a month.
Okay.
And that was that very big trigger. One was uniquely the cybersecurity services company, where my friend called me that we worked before in a previous company in Serbia, in DevTech at the time. We were working, he was working as a software developer, I was working as a cybersecurity officer, and he called me up and said, hey, we have this amazing opportunity to do a spin-off services company out of this bigger group in Netherlands. And, I was thinking we should do something with cybersecurity. You're the guy for that. You want to do it? I'm like, let's do it. What's the risk? He's like, minimum risk. I'm like, okay, come on. No risk and potential high reward. I mean, that was just a very obvious decision. Let's give it a shot. And the second one was Secfix, where I literally approached Fabiola, who was just thinking about the startup at the time. I met her on LinkedIn. I saw the post that she was looking for a cybersecurity consultant for this project that she was working on. I had zero information. Is it a startup or something else? I just wrote her, hey, let's talk. Let's see. Sounds interesting. You have a very good posts about cybersecurity. There was very few women in cybersecurity in general, so it was very interesting that also from Munich, she's working cybersecurity and pushing some innovation. So it was all just green lights all around. We got on a call. Chemistry was amazing, and she had the other co-founder with her, Grigory, as well on the call, and we just clicked. And they told me then the whole story, that they were trying to build this product, compliance automation. They need a cybersecurity expert on the team. They are great on product and marketing and sales, but they are missing the cybersecurity piece. Let's work together for a while, to see how it goes. And I didn't even know they're gonna invite me to be a co-founder. I was just happy to work, as a consultant at part-time. And it turned very quickly into an offer to become a third co-founder and to start Secfix as a company. And that all happened in such a short period, where Uniquely and Secfix kind of just launched in almost in parallel.
So you spend a lot of time working with different, both big companies, startups. You have more than 15 years of experience in these like very high pressure environments, because when something goes wrong, they always come to you and they're like, Branko, what is going on with the company? So can you share with us like 1 or 2 interesting stories when things were burning? What happened? How did you specifically respond? And what were those interesting stories that you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So as they define usually in job descriptions, high-paced environment or dynamic environment. that was my life, because working in cybersecurity, it's always high pressure. It's always, it's literally responding to fires. You are a fire department in a digital environment, and whenever somebody says it's urgent, it's an incident, you need to react. Like seconds are important in this particular case, and you get used to it. You need to have a cool head. You need to apply Stoic philosophy in your life, or at least at work. If you have a different life philosophy, that's great. At work, stoicism is the best one because it trains you to have a cool head in these situations. So it works great. So I started practicing that pretty much and applying it to my life as well. But at work, I built that resilience that when shit hits the fan, pretty much, I know exactly how to react, and that is always stay calm, because panicking absolutely achieves nothing. It's not going to be faster. It's not going to be better. It's just going to be worse all around. And you need to calm other people down as well. So you need to be that deep, soft voice, in the room and just calm everybody down, because you need clarity. You need them to give you concrete information. You need to know exactly who's responsible for what. And who can give you what type of information, because you need to start building a picture of the problem or doing a root cause analysis. So that's the most basic term. And you always do that. So even if it's not a cybersecurity thing, if it's a business thing, in startup, there is a client that is just panicking, and being angry, and just that's usually the problem you have, because early on startups have a few customers that make or break the ARR, so if they are angry at you for something like low quality of service, or your platform is not working, or it's huge. It can break your company. So that's an incident. That's an incident, top level incident, and that you need to always approach with calm and clarity. And you have no idea how much that impacts the entire team when they see you handling things that they were shaking about with it's cool, don't worry about it. It's just a problem that we need to solve, so and I'm on the call and I'm calming the customer down, I'm calming my people down, and we're just talking about a solution. We're not talking about the problem. We're just talking about, hey, we're going to fix this for you. We're going to make this work. We're going to, and this is already done. This is done. So just positive flow of things into the conversation. And I have so many of these stories, it's a daily thing sometimes. And the most important thing is how you, the person of authority in a startup, so a co-founder pretty much, how you radiate in those situations. If you're bringing panic, or if you're pointing fingers, that's a red flag. You're going to lose people, you're going to lose customers, and your behavior is just going to drive everything down. So it's critically important that you master the handling difficult situations by staying calm.
Okay. All right. You've been, like, throughout your career, it seems that you've been successful at almost everything that you do. Where have you failed? What is like your biggest failure?
Nice framing of the sentence. So I can say that I've been successful at things that you see are successes. Behind all of these are so many failures, so many mistakes, so many things that never surfaced, so many things that, for example, let's talk about Skenify as an example. We started that company, I think 2023 early.
Okay.
There were 3 co-founders, so myself and 2 people that all in cybersecurity space. We had an idea of a product that has nothing to do with what Skenify is today. It's absolute pivot. Like, there's not even one feature or design or even aspect, even the name of the product didn't make it to the pivot. I still love the idea of the initial product, but we just hit a wall with a lot of investors and accelerators that told us this will not sell well. So the target audience, the market that we were trying to serve for the product was just not big enough for investors to take notice. And but we really believed in the product. And then one co-founder left very early on. Then we were left with two. And we were struggling with building this. We burned a lot of money. We got like 100K angel investment through even like that. That's a mix of grant and investment. There's a law in Montenegro that allows companies to invest government money into companies by having tax write-offs. So it's a nice model. And at the time, it worked good for us to get some capital to start this. We burned through most of it, building this thing that was just like, okay, this is not going to work. Even on a technological level, we were not able to achieve what we wanted the tool to do. It was in just a short description. It was a automated open source intelligence platform that would serve investigative journalism, that would serve security agencies, both private and government, and potentially would serve HR teams for background checks of people. So basically checking all the public records about a person that can, that you can derive anything that is interesting for, and not just person, but person, events, and entities. So it was a very specific product and very needed product. But yeah, we just failed at it completely all around. Like the team setup, co-founder setup, we had the same skills, we needed diversity. So the second co-founder left, and then I was like, okay, I have to find, somebody to build this with. And then I found Milenko. I mean, not found. We knew each other from before. It was just, the timing was perfect. I'm like, dude, let's build this.
Was he the third co-founder, or was he like the two co-founders left and then you found another co-founder?
Yeah, two co-founders left. I was left alone. And then he came in as, again, the second in this case. So Milenko and myself.
And not complementary skills. He was more on the software and development side. You were more on the business
and not just software
side.
Development. Exactly. So he was running product, basically. Entire product. And it's amazing that his software development skills are amazing. And for this particular product that we are building now, it just, I can't tell you what a match made in heaven that was, that I literally have all the skills needed to bring this to market and the vision of the product and cybersecurity experience and expertise. And he has the entire product part. So the design, the infrastructure, technology, AI, front end, back end. He understands all of that and how it should work for a SaaS product, because that's where he excels. Though he worked on Apple products and projects. He worked on huge platforms and it was all SaaS pretty much. So he excelled at that. It was just his cup of tea, and he was looking to build something, from scratch. So it was just the timing was right. And so if you just focus on that part, it's like, oh, amazing story. Well, I'm like, okay, but I went through 2 years of shit and burned all the money. So actually, when we started pivoting, it was like, dude, I don't have much money left from the grant. We need to figure something out. Thankfully, my other businesses were working well at the time. So I was able to literally start reinvesting that money and just bootstrapping Skenify. So that timing was right. I was not able to do that when we first founded the company, but 2 years later, I was able to do that. So yeah, to answer your question, no, it was many, many failures that led to few successes. And that's enough. Even one is absolutely enough. And you need to fail more times than you succeed to be able to, make something. That's normal. That's growth. That's maturity. That's learning. And it's not even failure if you learn from each fail. Then it's just a lesson. And then that's all you need.
I've spoken with Milenko. He told me an interesting story when you guys were thinking about, okay, how do you guys pivot from the current product, renaming it to another solution? How did that look like? Because he basically said that this is one of the most interesting stories, because like in 5 minutes, you guys were on a terrace overlooking the Montenegrin Sea, and you were able to just get one thing done, the second thing done. You had you found the name like in like a couple of minutes you agreed, okay, we should pivot to a different name, and this is the name, and we should use that. So
Yeah,
how did
it
that look like?
Well, pretty much like that. We went. I mean, like a workshop type of thing. I mean, it was nothing organized. It was just him and me at my place in Montenegro, and we just said, okay, let's take 5 days. Let's lock ourselves in and just brainstorm on this. We need to create a full plan. We need to create a plan for the design, for all the features, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Let's go as far as 2 years ahead. Let's talk about go-to-market. Let's talk about everything, what we need to change, what we need to build, who we need to find to build the things that we need to build. How much capital do we have? How much do we need to acquire? Or how much I need to invest, so I can also plan the budget and everything. It was just all around, let's build a new company, out of what we already have. And but that time was more spent of just him and me hanging out, just unorganized brainstorming. We went to the beach, went to coffee, went to lunch, we walked around, rode bicycle. He was riding a bicycle, I was running next to him. So we were doing just, all around activities, just spending time together, getting more, also connected, getting more close thinking, identifying how he thinks about things, how I think about things, and sometimes just talking about life, not even talking about the product and everything, because we just needed to know each other better, even though we knew each other before. But, we were colleagues in a company, in a services company, and it was more hanging out, chit chat. It was not on this level. So we needed definitely to improve our relationship, because it's critical. Like co-founder fit, it's what absolutely makes or breaks anything. If co-founder fit is amazing, you can have a shit product. You can probably sell it. If you have like bad co-founder fit and you have an amazing product, you guys are gonna eat each other out from the inside and just have a company suicide. As YC says, most companies die of suicide and not devoured by competition. So that's because of the founders, only because of the founders. There's no other aspects that affect that. So that was the most important part to me. We achieved that. And yeah, the story he mentioned at the terrace, it was just creative flow. We were just discussing some aspects of the product, what we really want. And it's just all the conversations from the past few days just, fell into place in a few minutes. And we had the name, we had the vision, we even draw the wireframe of the product, and we were thinking about the same thing individually. So it was really just clicked at the moment.
Do you recommend that for everybody who's starting a company to just take 5 days or a week, go somewhere together? Because like you specifically had a specific situation where you guys were like in Montenegro, seaside. You could do a lot of activities. If I am just in my house with my co-founder, we might not have so many different activities, so that it will unlock that part of our brains where creativity flows and all those things. So,
well, we do this in Secfix as well. So we do this on a bigger team level. We do mandatory team offsites at least once a year, like all hands. So the entire company, and we do smaller ones throughout the year. We go to different locations each time. We went to Spain, we went to Italy, we went to Swiss Alps, we went Austrian Alps, I don't know. We went to Portugal, we went to Canary Islands, like every year we went to a place, literally everybody flies out, we meet, we have joint sessions, we have breakout sessions, people just hang out, we do just regular activities in that town. We went, like in Italy, when we were in Milan, we went to a cooking class together, we were making pizza and gelato. I mean, is that work? No, but people were bonding, people were obviously very much enjoying and finding new friends. I also got super close to some people in the company because of these events. And based on that, we did so many amazing things back in the office. We are a fully remote company, so it's very important that you have FaceTime with people, especially if you're a fully remote company, and also for the founders. So with Fabiola and Grigory as well, I had many sessions alone, like when I go to Munich and we just have lunch and we just discuss and brainstorm about the company, about the product, about the team, and we just get closer and closer together. So absolutely, yes, mandatory.
Let's talk about startups and because you're working with so many different startups and advising them and investing in them. What is the biggest cybersecurity risk that all startups ignore in the beginning but shouldn't?
They just ignore cybersecurity as a whole. It really breaks my brain, especially today. I mean, it's lack of awareness of how low of an effort it is to implement cybersecurity early on, instead of doing it later when things are already too complicated. So when you're setting up a new startup, you're setting up new tools, you're setting up the pipeline, the infrastructure, the accounts. Like during that process of setup, you just need one or two extra steps to focus on security configuration, or to add an open source tool to your pipeline, or to, just configure some sharing settings, two-factor authentication settings, encryption settings. Like those things are usually all free and available in all of these platforms. Even if you do startup credits, for example, if you use Microsoft startup credits and on Microsoft Founders Hub, they just give a lot of stuff to just any startup that registers, and then you have tiers. As you progress, then you need to verify your company, you need to verify that you have an investor, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get more and more things unlocked. But even in the first plan, you get like GitHub Enterprise for a year, and it has the best static code analyzer for security in it, which means everything you push through GitHub gets checked for vulnerabilities by this tool that is on enterprise level, and you are basically able to fix any vulnerabilities before they go to production for free. It takes your time and effort, but you will have a very solid, secure SaaS product early on if you just think about these things at least a little bit. And as I said, super low effort. If you do this like after 2-3 years, you have complex infrastructure, you have a lot of people, not even a lot. If you have some people, you have customers, you have data, and you need to do some architectural changes to fix your security, it might cost you a lot of money, a lot of effort. It can break things. It can possibly, you might migrate wrong, delete some data. It can really cause a problem. And you just need to realize that you could have done all of this with very low effort, very low knowledge. Now you can ask AI. I mean, you have no excuse, basically.
And what are some examples when startups don't do cybersecurity? What can happen to their business?
There was actually one example just a few weeks ago. It was, I think it was a startup. I can't remember the name, but the startup was in the HR SaaS industry. It was pretty much automating recruitment process, and very successful startup at that. And they just had a major data breach.
Oh, you mean Mercor?
There you go.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. Major data breach. I mean, it was like recorded calls, all the profiles of people, even the interviewers, the interviews themselves, and background check information. Like it was just super, super critical. And I mean, that breaks a company, at that stage. And they raised a lot of money. They even have high valuation. And it's extremely hard to recover from that, even if you say, okay, now we fixed everything. I mean, you had the resources to fix it before. So
yeah,
it speaks to what are your priorities. So are you proactive? Are you reactive? Or and then when you lose trust in the market, like it's super hard to recover from that. So for most companies at that stage, almost impossible. And they usually die or just get sold off for pennies instead of their original valuation.
I think a lot of our listeners are listening to this and they're like, how does this guy do it? So he's a co-founder at a startup that just raised 12 million. He's a co-founder at another startup, Skenify. He runs his company, which is called a security company. You're also investing. You have another startup you're working with, iPets. How do you decide where to spend your time and like how do you prioritize things? How do you get all of these things done?
Let's not forget the most important job. I'm a dad.
You're a dad as well, yes. Yes.
I mean,
course.
not like mom. The mom is more important. That's proper job for sure. But I'm definitely trying to make it an absolute.
Oh, and you're a
full-time
professional runner or something like that. Like
I wouldn't say professional because I am paying to run. They're not paying me.
yeah.
So, but you know what I mean. But no, I'm. It's becoming a serious hobby. It was more like let's do something for health. Now it's just super entertaining and interesting. So yeah, but running on the side, I don't have routines. You can't have routines with so many things messing up your calendar. You just can't. Because every day when I wake up, I try to do the training first because if my day gets out of line, you know, and things start popping up, urgent things, they just go to the night, you know. Sometimes you just can't find that spot to just fully disconnect because if I go to the gym or I go on a run, you know, there's nothing that can mess with that because then it fails. You know, if you go to train, you need to do it from start to finish, just focus on that, especially if it's a hard one. You know, if you need to do speed runs or you need to do some heavy gym session, I mean, it depends what my app tells me. So I try to outsource thinking about my training to the apps. That's very important. So let the app build you a plan, stick to that plan. Don't think about it. I'm not going to think about what training I need to do today. I see what training I need to do today. I do it exactly as you said, and I just move on. But I need to find a slot for that. Every day, it's a usually different slot. I try to do it early in the morning because then I know that's done. You know, now whatever comes up, it comes up. And I prioritize work between the companies based on what burns, you know, where is the priority. Of course, there are some recurring things, there are some deadlines and things that I need to deliver and then I need to do. That really is just something that I can do at the time. Otherwise, I try to delegate as much as possible. And I want to remain, my calendar want to remain available that people can just ping me on Slack and say, hey, can you jump on a huddle? I need you for 2 minutes. Because I want them to feel they can do that at any time. I don't want anybody in the company to feel that I'm too busy. That's very dangerous. If they say, oh, he's too busy, you know, he has all these things going on. Like, no, I'm here for you. If I'm busy with you. You know, I'm not busy somewhere else. So all my colleagues need to know that no matter how much they think I'm busy, they should always write me and never, you know, say, oh, I'm not going to bother him. No, bother me. That's your job is to bother me when you need to bother me. So please do that because we might be missing something important. You know, I might save you hours of time. I might tell you, hey, that you're focusing on the wrong thing. I might tell you, oh, great job. You might get encouragement, you know, so just bother me, please. That's, you know, that's your job. And then they all bother me, you know, by my will.
Of course.
And then I just see what things are, you know, burning, where I need to spend my time more and more. And my day is pretty much dictated by other people's needs of me. I need to be of service to everybody else. They're not servicing me. So co-founder needs to understand the more people you bring in, they are smarter than you. They are better than you, especially at that thing you hired them for. I mean, why the hell did you hire them? If they're not, you know, better than you, you need to hire smarter people that will tell you what needs to be done. And you need to give them resources and encouragement to do it. That's your job. So you need to serve the people all the time, every day. And that's how I prioritize time, and everything else, of course, in between the meetings and in between everything, and of course the afternoons and nights, it's family time. That's energy. That's where you want to be.
But what happens in a situation where, so Secfix raised 12 million, and the co-founders tell you, listen, you really need to be on this investor call, but then a customer from Skenify calls you, and at the same time you have to be in the same meeting, and maybe somebody else from the security company calls you, and it's the same time again. Like what do you do in those situations? How do you, and you cannot change the meetings because they're already set. Like, how do you handle that part?
Well, every of those things has the priority, right? The priority level. So obviously, you're going to say all three are important, but you don't have the luxury to say that. So you need to pick one where you're going to show up. And the one where you're going to show up is the one that really makes the most damage or makes the most impact if you solve it. So if you don't show up, how much damage is going to be? If you show up, how much value is going to be. So that's that. That's at that moment, your prioritization skills and cost benefit analysis is the decisive thing that will tell you where you actually need to be and what you delegate, to whom you delegate. You might need to pull somebody out of something important and say, I need you. I need you right now. I need you right here. Drop what you're doing. This is where you need to be. And the important thing is to really give people more credit, give people more authority, and try to get everybody to be able to replace you at one part of your job. So of course you can't just find another you, but you can find another you for this part of the business or this part of the business, this part. So you can maybe be replaced by 5 other people joined together in different skills, and they plus have other skills that you don't have, right? Obviously. So, but they mastered this part, and you always have a backup for that part. So if it's an investor meeting, I know that, for example, if it's Secfix and now Fabiola is running in, the entire fundraising, she's like fully committed. Grigory and I are supporting. So obviously, if I need to show up there because otherwise the investors will be very pissed. Dude, I'm going to be there. That's out of question that I'm going to be anywhere else. And if something else is burning, I will find the best next person to handle that at the potential cost that the customer will say, I was expecting Branko on the call. And they're like, dude, trust me, he would be here if he could, but he will call you after the call just to make sure that everything was okay. And then you do, anything added value that you can think of because you missed the meeting. So you would call them directly on the phone. Hey, just get a little bit closer and explain the situation, and even say, hey, we're going to do this thing for free for you, add some extra thing to just diffuse situations. So yeah, firefighter, that's the approach.
Yeah. What are some other really key things about leadership that you can share with our audience? You've shared that one of the most important things is to have your calendar open in a sense, so that they know that they should that they have the freedom to call you up. What other things are super important in terms of leadership?
Optimism.
Okay.
Very important and very overlooked. You need, I know people have preferences. They're like, I'm an optimist, I'm a realist, I'm a pessimist, and that's great. All good. I'm going to tell you which one will give you results. And it's optimism. Even though you know there is a low chance of something working, of something happening. But if you hype up the crowd and yourself with, guys, let's give our best, and accept the worst case scenario. So what that means, if we have a big deal on the table, it's just this contract that we really want to win, and you involve 5 people on it. And there is a low chance, you're going to get it. But you have a final call and you need to hype everybody up. You need to be extremely optimistic about the call, not like scare them with worry. Oh guys, if we don't win this, it's going to be really bad. You really need to give your best. No, guys, we're going to win this. We're going to do this. Like, it's already done. I know you're going to kick ass. I know you're going to be awesome. I know you're going to do everything that you're going to do. They will love you, and we're going to get this. I don't care. And you say, and if we don't, it's not a big deal. So you need to reflect on the worst case scenario of failing. You need to marinate in it a little bit and say, okay, let's imagine we failed. Let's imagine this didn't go. Let's accept it as it already happened. Now it's something we already dealt with. We dealt with rejection. We dealt with failure even before it happened. Now let's go in this like it's ours, like we own it. So it's just mindset shift that is super focused on optimism and preemptive, thinking about failure. And that combination I found not just at work, but in life, like in every situation, when you just think about the worst case scenario and say, okay, I'm fine with the worst case scenario now. I'm going to go all in. I have nothing to lose anymore. So that's extremely important, and that you can apply it absolutely anything, that optimistic thinking, and you will see how people light up when you do that.
How do you do that when you are a CEO of a very small startup? You have a team of, let's say, 5-6 people. You have your burn rate is so high that you have like 2 more months to survive. There is no capital available. There are potentially some customers, but you're not sure if they're going to close or not. And even if those customers close, they're going to keep you alive for maybe 1 or 2 more months. How do you as a CEO keep being positive? And what do you tell your employees? Because some of the employees might be scared and they're like, oh, maybe I should try looking for another job if this company is going to fail in 2 months. And there's like a 50% chance that this will happen. Like, how do you deliver that news? Because oftentimes I see CEOs not really being upfront and honest about, their cash flow challenges and how I'm going to pay your salary for the next 6 months.
Well, you just answered it a little bit. So the next point in leadership that is absolutely critical to me, like for any good, of course, I know that there are some leaders that are strictly not applying this and still achieving results by other tactics, in corporations, scare tactics, and all the other ones that I just don't want to be involved with, and that I also felt on my own skin. And I just said, okay, this is how I don't want to do, management and leadership, is transparency. Transparency is if you open up to your team about who you are, what you do, hey, here's my daughter, here's where I live, that's what I like to do, here's my hobbies, and just sometimes on calls, just talk about your life, about yourself, so they feel like they know you better. And when you meet in person, just talk about, get connected, don't talk about work. There's plenty of that. Get connected with people. You need them to trust you, and you need to trust them. You cannot hire somebody and not give them 100% trust upfront. To me, it's useless because that it just drives to people going away. You starting to care less about people, just seeing numbers and people. Hey, can they do this job? But you don't care about their character. You don't care about their ethics. You don't care about their personality. I don't want to do it like that. I never want to do it like that. I believe that this is the right way to do it, to be fully transparent. For example, at Secfix, every week we have all hands meetings. And every week we started the call by saying what is our current ARR. Like numbers on the screen. Everybody on the call. They know exactly how much money is the company earning every week and how much new sales, which customers we onboarded, who took over those customers. Like everybody in the company knows at every point, every week, they get updated exactly what we did to make the company better and more successful. we send monthly reports that we send to investors, to all employees, our burn rate, our cash flow, like it's the full financial report. I mean, not like every bill and everything, but, but of course the statistics that they need to know. It's everybody knows. Everybody can access that. Our Notion, which is the tool for document management, like Confluence, if somebody doesn't know, and it's an amazing tool. We use it. It's not logged out on any page, on any, like everybody can search all the other teams' stuff. You know, you can I can go to marketing team and I can see what marketing team is doing. Every channel on Slack is an open channel. So you can literally jump into any channel and see what's going on. Only channels and pages that are logged are ones that you must log. Like if it's HR related topics, you know, like performance reviews, background checks, contracts, you know, those are just things that in the contract literally says you cannot share it with everybody. It's a non-disclosure agreement. So everything that is behind non-disclosure, you know, that's just obviously logged. But everything else that is not, hey, take a look.
Full transparency.
Full transparency.
Across all companies that you run?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Now, so at Secfix is at the highest level for sure. At Skenify, it's because we have we have a lot of contractors. So they're like not full-time employees. So they're just working on a specific thing.
Sure.
So obviously they only have access to those things, and they and you know they're hourly billed. So obviously all their time is spent on the task, not on all hands calls. So they don't participate in like company-wide things. We want to change that. So we obviously by the end of this year we want to build a full-time core team that will live through the same culture, values, you know, meetings, everything, sharing. And so the idea is to replicate that with Secfix, and with the security company, that one is already set up in that way.
Nice. Cool. Final stuff. We have something we call quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. You answer like very fast, and we're done. The first question is, what question should founder ask investors but rarely do?
How can you open doors for me? Very quickly, our co-founders in this area just want the investment. You know, and it's super hard to get attention to investors. So you just want to get the deal done, and you never ask for, is this smart money? You know, is this investor going to help me moving forward, to open doors for me, to open new markets, to help me hire people, to help me with marketing, to help me with sales, to get new channel partners. How can you help me moving forward? Yeah, money is just
money is great, but
how can you help me? They just don't ask that.
Okay. What was the period of your professional career that you felt the happiest, and why? And I'm guessing it's right now.
Well, it's also a very good question, because if you ask 1 million people about defining happiness, you're going to get 1 million different answers, right?
Sure.
So for me, I can never say it's a period of time. There are moments in a day that you're going to feel happy, you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel, you know, disappointed, you're going to feel excited, you're going to, all the feelings you're going to feel, and you can feel one at any given moment. So, you know, if I'm feeling really bad, if I just look at the picture of my kid, I'm going to smile no matter what, right? Even if I'm going through pain, even if I'm going through a disappointment, even if I'm just exhausted, burned out, whatever, I can make myself feel happy with the thought, you know? So for me, those are moments that you should be able to invoke at any point in time. But to answer your question on a broader sense, that I feel more fulfilled and satisfied, maybe, yeah, absolutely right now. And I also hope that this is going to be the new worst I'm going to be moving forward. So it's just going to be better then.
Yeah. Final question. What is one guest we must absolutely bring on the podcast that you can personally recommend, and why should we bring that person?
Darko Ivanovic from Montenegro. Absolutely guy you need to talk to. Very raw, very direct, full of knowledge and experience in building startups, building startup ecosystems. He's founder of Digital Den, the first Montenegrin startup incubator and accelerator. He's the founder of Badger, or the Badger Crew, a very innovative hardware startup from Montenegro. Like, he did the most impossible thing, in my opinion, to bring a hardware product to market from Montenegro and scale it. So insane thing. And I would say he's a pioneer definitely in our region, in this area. You just need to talk to him.
Mm-hmm. All right. Branko, thank you very much for coming to the show. Everybody, stay tuned for more episodes with amazing founders from this region like Branko.
If you're a startup founder from the Balkans, you'll eventually need a US company. To sell into the US market, use Stripe, or raise VC money. But here's the problem. US lawyers charge between $600 and $1,000 an hour. Opening a bank account as a non-resident is a nightmare. You need a US phone number, operating address, and there are a lot of hidden costs plus lawyer lingo you can't understand. This is why we have partnered with Neubase. They are a team of Balkan founders who have been exactly where you are. They're 10 times cheaper than US lawyers, and they handle everything end to end, from the corporation, bank account setup, tax filings, and basically leaving you to focus on your own business. Head to neubase.co, book a free consultation, and mention Scale SCE to get 10% discount off your LLC or C-Corp setup.